Hey guys, I'm back at you with another review. Back at you with another Neca review. This time of the Neca Ultimate Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. It's funny that I'm reviewing this now because this is actually the very first Neca Ultimate figure I ever got. I was gonna say purchased, but I got it. It was a Christmas present. But yeah, this review I guess has been a long time coming. Yeah. About time to talk about this guy. I know, Michael Myers is another iconic slasher that I gotta talk about, but I kind of want to wait until around October or at least the fall before I start talking about him. But I don't know, we'll see how that shakes out. So let's just get started right away. No dilly dally. We do enough of that here. We got on the box here. It is straight up the movie poster for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Got the skull-looking face there. Nancy in bed. Nightmare on Elm Street. Like it. Up there, Nightmare on Elm Street picture of Freddie. That doesn't look to be Freddie from the first movie, but whatever. We'll accept that anyway. Ages 17 and up. These aren't for your little tykes. Nightmare on Elm Street on the side. 30th anniversary Ultimate Freddy. Neca Real Toys. Got a bit of a read up on the back. You can pause it and read it if you want. It's pictures of the accessories. Pictures of the figure. Yep. That is that. Nice and easy. Almost forgot to open it up. Wow, nice job, bro. I got a picture of the figure there. It's one of the heads, and then the box of figure was stuck in as not there because I have most of my neck accessories in a Ziploc baggie, but the accessories for this figure were actually in the packaging, or I had placed them back in the packaging, so I had to remove that to take them out. But on the bright side, you can get a better look at the backdrop here of the boiler room. I like the nice red coloring. I like how this entire thing is patterned after Freddy's sweater. You can see the stripes there. That's pretty cool. I like that. Whoever designed this box did a good job. Alright, now we move on. So before we get a look at the man, the myth, the nightmare himself, we got to look at some accessories. To be honest, I think I feel like I remember the initial release of this figure coming with more accessories. Maybe it's just because he came with the extendo arms or whatever from the Tina Dream sequence, so it seemed like, oh, it's so cool. And I think he came with that head, but I don't know. Because I don't know. There are some accessories here that aren't on that figure though. I'll just go through them, and I don't think it came with this hand or that telephone. But all right, we'll just talk through them. He comes with this hand here, where he slices off his fingers, and then the green goo juts out of it. It's nice and dirty, grimy. Just kind of funny that this hand. Stupid. That's what happens when you have pets, folks. Lots of hair everywhere. But yeah, the green, there's a little bit of a yellowish wash in there, which is kind of cool. Again, the dirty fingers. Very cool. He comes with a couple alternate heads. He comes with this skull face head for when Tina peels his face off and he's like, ah, booga, booga, booga. And it looks very, very cool, very gross. Nice paint work, very slick and slippery. I love that. I just love this head. It looks so cool. It got his eyeballs popping out. See the nose cavity there, nasal cavity. His obviously his regular scarring. It's just normal Freddy scarring from being burned alive. Good job with the blood and the flesh and everything on there. Looks very good. Then we get a more standard, stern-looking, angry Freddy head. Looks like maybe he's about to call someone a bitch. But, yeah, very cool with the scarring and the blood effects and the burns. You got some little bits of soot and black wash going through here, just making him look nice and toasty. Likeness to Robert Englund is good. Him as Freddy, how he looked as Freddy, likeness is pretty good actually. Pretty accurate. He's got a scowl on his face. Eyeballs are well done. All the paint's very clean here. Nothing too much to complain about. And then this looks to be Tina's face. But to be honest, I don't remember what scene this is from. I do not remember. I'm sorry. I'm seeing if this works. Okay, this works. It fits on the face. So if you want Freddy wearing someone else's face, Freddy pulling a leather face, you can do that. That fits on there. Though I think it would be funny if you could have it on this one. Even though I know it's not his face. But it doesn't really work because this head doesn't really have a nose. Nothing really to peg into there with this. Which the nose part is kind of what sticks it to the face. And then he comes with this is probably the best accessory that this Ultimate Freddy comes with, is this telephone. When Nancy answers the phone, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy." And his tongue comes out of the phone. It's pretty hilarious. Then, nice paint on the phone with the little buttons, silver buttons on there. And the dial here. This is just what cell phones were back then. No, I don't know. For all I know, they probably still had to plug into the wall. I don't remember. I don't know. I'm too freaking young to remember to know these things off the top of my head. So yeah, decent accessories, even though I can't see myself really using many of them, except maybe that head. Still, they're cool, and they can help you recreate little iconic bits from the movie. As far as weapons and stuff go, he doesn't really have any, and that's just because the main weapon he has is, of course, the claws themselves, his claws, which are his hands, so, you know, it's already there. And I guess you can count the fedora. Yeah, you can count the fedora as an accessory, because it does come off. So yeah, the fedora is another one, and that's very cool. It's different from the other fedoras in the Nightmare movies. This one's shaped a little bit differently because it has this curved side here and a flat side there, which I kind of prefer because it kind of hides his eyes and makes him look more menacing. And then you obviously have this primary head sculpt that I believe he comes packaged with this head sculpt. If not, I swapped it out because I prefer it, because I think this is the best head sculpt of all of them. Because come on, that's just awesome. You got him doing this classic Freddy smile, has this evil grin on his face, and also it's just the nastiest head in terms of the scarring and stuff. Aside from obviously the one where he has no face or his face is peeled off, but like I feel like it was the grossest in terms of scarring and stuff. And that's another thing with the Nightmare franchise, is like, in the first movie, this is legit just gross scarring and burning and skin falling away and rotting. And as the movies kind of went on, it just kind of looks like, I don't know, like a weird wrinkly face that isn't very necessarily gross, just kind of funny looking. But in that original movie, this actually looks like a guy that's burned alive. It's part of the reason why the original is still the best, obviously. You got some on his neck there. Gross. And they got some wrinkles in there too, and they got that same black wash going through. Making it look nice, toasty, and crispy. And his ear, he's missing a chunk of his ear. And again, it's just the expression. This is so Freddy. This evil smile. He enjoys what he does, which is invading people's dreams and killing them in their sleep. What a guy. I'm gonna pop that fedora back on real quick. Get back to that iconic Freddy look. Come on. Okay. See, that's what I meant, where it kind of hides the eyes. Makes them hard to see. It just looks more menacing to me. You know? Yeah, so the rest of the sculpt, very well done with the sweater here. Texturing throughout. Different texturing from the sweater, the collar, down at the bottom part here. And then the cuffs, the sleeve cuffs. This one's actually half rolled up, which is a nice detail that they added in there. And another thing that's different with the first movie as opposed to the others is in the original there were no stripes on the arms. The arms were just red. A lot of elements that like people typically think is Freddy's most iconic look was actually a little bit different in the original. I mean, and I do like some aspects, but I don't know. I just feel like overall the look of the original Freddy Krueger is just more menacing in general. And the sweater is a bit baggier too, as opposed to future installments. It's a little more form-fitting to Mr. Robert Englund. That just kind of adds to this disheveled kind of character, I guess, that Fred Krueger is and was. Back here, not much to say about it. It's more of the sweater and then some creasing and some folds in the back here, which is very cool. Looks good. Looks very natural. We got his just plain black slacks there. A little baggy towards the bottom. I like the red they went with here. There's a little bit of a dark wash through the arms, making it look all worn. Not as much through the sweater itself, but I like the darker coloring that they went with. And that's also probably because the sweater itself was darker in the original. The original movie, it was just overall darker because it was more horror. It was meant to be scary and creepy. It's supposed to see the more wacky antics Freddy would get up to in the sequels. We got his shoes there. His laces. Nicely done. Got some treads around the perimeter there. Not on like the very bottom, but still cool that they included something. And then his glove, of course. And there's still a tiny bit of warping, but it has mostly been resolved. I believe when I first got him, it was pretty bad with the finger warping. So if you're getting a Freddy in a store, then be sure to look through them and make sure there isn't too much warping with the claws and stuff, or you try and find one without too much warping. And this is another thing. Just for the original, it wasn't really a two-tone glove. It was more just a single brass, bronzish color. It's more of a single color than the more multi-toned. Like, you got some gold and some brass and some mixed colors. Which, honestly, I kind of prefer the mixed colors. It's one thing I do for the future designs, because I just think it makes it stand out more. But this was how it was in the first movie. There is a little bit of a lighter bronze, or more bronzish color towards the fingertips here, where the blades attach to the glove. But yeah, it was more so seeming to be a single color in that first Nightmare film. So, let's move on to the accessories. We already talked about the accessories. Move on to the articulation, and then maybe I will show you him display with some of his accessories, and then we'll do some comparisons, and then we will get out of here. So, articulation on this guy is an improvement on the initial release, because this guy has leg articulation. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. So the head is on a ball joint. It can't really look up that much. It's a little, which is a little disappointing. But, you know, you can still get him looking down, and still has neck pivots, so you can still give him expressive, you know, head movements, which is good. You need that for Freddy. His arms fully rotate. They go out. I thought there was a neck joint, but there isn't. They bend at the elbow, not quite 90. Rotate at the elbow, rotates at the wrist, hinge back and forth. I believe the wrist is on a ball joint. Same with the other wrist. He's got really good diaphragm articulation, which I guess sort of makes up for the head not being able to look up. Though it does look kind of strange when you have it like that, but, you know. So yeah, it tilts, it pivots, it rotates all the way around. There might even be two joints in here. It's hard to tell, but really good movement there. And like I said, this version has leg articulation, and it's pretty good leg articulation. You can kick forward pretty much like 90 degrees. He can kick back a little bit, though. That looks a little weird. He has an upper thigh cut, a very, very upper thigh cut, or upper thigh swivel, more like. He bends at the knee. Not very much, but at least it's there, you know. And rotates at the knee as well. And then the feet. I don't remember if there were feet articulation on the initial. I didn't own it. I've just seen several reviews. The feet pivot forward. Not really much back because of the pant cuffs there. They fully rotate. And, there is an ankle pivot. There is some slight ankle pivots. I believe the feet are on ball joints, which is what allows all the motion there. So pretty good articulation for Freddy. And another thing, you don't need like Marvel Legends articulation on a freaking horror figure. You're not really gonna have them doing superhero poses. You just want them kind of doing their menacing slashing, you know. So I wanted to give you guys more accessory shots, but switching out the interchangeable parts kind of felt like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Because, I mean, I don't know if it's because they've been in the box for so long and maybe the peg holes have shriveled up or something, or if it came that way, but the peg holes in the interchangeable parts, I thought it was just the heads, but it was the hand too. That hand was only halfway on for that shot I did, but the peg holes are too small for the peg that's in the neck. Even putting this head back on, I popped it off. Even putting it back on, This one had already been stretched out because it's been on the peg for pretty much as long as I've owned it. Even that was a pain to get back on, so maybe it isn't the heads, or maybe it isn't them being unused for so long. Maybe they really are that hard to get on, so just something to know. I don't think it's impossible. With enough work it can be done, but it is extremely difficult to swap out the interchangeable parts on this guy, so at least on my figure, just something to note there. Here's Freddie alongside Michael Myers. Here's Freddie alongside Jason Voorhees from Part 3. Here's Freddie alongside Chucky from Bride of Chucky. So Freddie's shorter, quite a bit shorter than Jason and Michael, as you would expect, which works. He's in scale with all your typical NECA figures, so no issues with that. I don't know what the licensing deal is with NECA right now. I mean, I hear they can't make more Jason figures, which is a freaking damn shame. I think the same thing might be happening with Freddy. I don't think they've released a new Freddy figure in a while. It really sucks, because I would love to see an ultimate, like, Jason Goes to Hell Jason. I mean, the movie isn't the greatest, but the design is sick. I'd love to see an ultimate Freddy from A New Nightmare, which is what inspired me to make this review. I watched A New Nightmare last night for the first time, so that would be great with the trench coat and everything. Man, so much wasted potential if they can't get the licensing back for those guys, man. And I don't even know where they're at with Halloween, because they've only released 2 Michael Myers semi-recently. But yeah, there's so much stuff I want from NECA that I don't know if they have the licenses for anymore, which is such a shame. But this figure, if you're a fan of the original Nightmare on Elm Street, which if you're a horror fan, you should be, because it's one of the best horror, not only slasher films of all time, one of the best horror films of all time. Definitely pick this guy up. He's actually not. He hasn't gotten more difficult to find over the years. He's still pretty easy to find. I've still seen him at retail a couple times recently, so it shouldn't be too hard to get a hold of this guy for a reasonable price. So, that being said, he's definitely worth it if you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan in any capacity. Totally a must-have for your collection. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be.